There are only 4.5 short months until Dishonored 2 comes out, and that time is going to go faster than you think. It's time for us who enjoyed the original game to think about what we like from the first game and what we want to see from the second. Being able to talk to your friends or fellow players about your experiences in a certain game and to have them respond with completely different experiences in what seems like a far more linear part of the game is incredibly exciting. It sets your imagination going on what other possible things there might be to do in the game. These experiences are only possible in games with large variation in the way that they can be played or the story that the game presents to you. Although we know that your choices to play either Emily or Corvo in the game does not affect what missions you are given throughout the duration of the game, something which would have been amazing to see, we can say pretty confidently that playing with a different character will greatly change how the game is played. Even just the difference between Corvo's blink ability and Emily's tentacle-like ability will lead to huge differences in the gameplay. That's before you even look at Emily's other completely new abilities, or Corvo's further advanced versions of his previous ones. Any variation in the story is very enjoyable, as it enables more replayability, something which Dishonored already has shown quite a bit of. I know that many players, including myself, who enjoyed the first game, went on to play the game several times, each time taking a completely different approach, from Ghost/Shadow/Clean Hands run to full out slaughter of every character in the game. We already know that you will have the ability to choose between two factions in the game to support, the Overseers and the gang called the Howlers. If this choice changes the story dramatically, then this will mean that the game is more replayable, which is good news for every single player. But any variation in the game can only be a good thing for players. Which leads me on to my next point. In the Lady Boyle mission of Dishonored, you have the ability to non-lethally dispose of Lady Boyle by talking to one of the characters at the ball. They will approach you, but it is entirely possible to kill Lady Boyle before they do. There may be other times like this during the game, but this is the one that particularly stays in my mind, as I was really impressed that the game had diverted so clearly from its 4 lethal option, do X, and 4 non-lethal option, do Y, formula that it had till that point in the game. I would love for there to be more opportunities such as this in the game, where there are solutions to the level that are not immediately available to the player. Rather than holding the player's hand completely in what to do, the game allows some more discovery. To further this idea, it would be great if there were multiple ways to dispose of your target in your chosen way, so that perhaps the target can be non-lethally disposed of in the way that the game first suggests, but it's completely possible for the player to discover another way of doing so. Things like this make the world that the game creates feel so much more authentic and natural, so it feels like the world isn't just empty, filled with only you completing linear set objectives. It's not much of a secret that the lethal routes of disposing of your enemies in the first game, I'm talking spring razors, grenades, cutting your opponent down the middle, hell, even shooting them, are far more enjoyable and satisfying than creeping up behind a guard and choking them, or just avoiding them completely. It could be argued that the enjoyment of the lethal approaches pushed the player to separate their playstyles into different runs of the game, but a game cannot be made on the premise that the game will be truly satisfying the second time you play it, or that you need to play the game round twice in order to experience the full ranges of the game. Non-lethal options need to be more enjoyable for those of us that wish to see a city still standing at the end of the game. Very little exciting looking non-lethal takedowns have been displayed in what we've seen so far, but we still need to wait and see if Arcane deliver a non-lethal variation of the game that is not hugely less enjoyable than its lethal counterpart. The stealth in Dishonored was incredibly exhilarating the first or even the second time that you played through the game. Eventually though, you come to realise that the guards in Dishonored are incredibly stupid. You can kill someone within 10 meters of them, directly in their field of view, but yet slightly in the shadows, and they will not notice that you were there, or that the guard that entered that small patch of shadow is no longer there. Unless this is some Silence in the Library type stuff. That guard should be more than a little bit surprised that his friend has disappeared from the face of the earth, when he was standing right in front of them. Dishonored had multiple endings, depending on just how ruthless you'd been when it came to killing guards and other people in the city of Dunwall. But the system was oversimplified. Killing a certain amount of people in a certain amount of missions would increase your level of chaos to a point where you got a darker ending. This even included killing off Weepers, who were already so infested with the plague that they were going to die anyway. How come when I kill them, the city plunges into plague, but when I allow them to carry on roaming around, giving other people the plague, and eventually becoming food for the rats that would have eaten them if I'd killed them, the city is all sunshine and roses? Also, it would be great to see more detailed endings, such as certain parts of the city falling to the plague after I killed everyone there, and the areas where I remained undetected and didn't even touch anyone surviving completely, rather than those dead Weepers in the several parts of the city single-handedly taking down the entire place. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like, or most importantly leave a comment telling me what you want to see from Dishonored 2. If you didn't like something about the video, be sure to also leave a comment in the comment section below telling me what you didn't enjoy. Also, be sure to check out my video on 5 things Fallout 4 got wrong. Thank you so much for watching.